Alrighty, so in this story, we learned something really important. We learned a couple of things really important. We learned that when we see any problems, it's our job as Muslims to actually go in and try to solve them. Whether that's an issue at the local park, or whether that's an issue at the school, or whether that is an issue of homelessness or global warming, it's our job to take responsibility. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, what does He tell us? He tells us that Allah is not going to change the condition of a people until they first change what is within themselves. What this means is that if we want Allah to help us, we also need to do our work. We also need to take the first steps. We also have to get involved, just like Amira did in this story, and just like my friend Horace and I did in Maple Grove, where I live in Minnesota. Now, this is not something that is just like something that my friend Horace did or something that my friend Amira and Noor Kids did. No, this is something that our Holy Prophet, peace and blessings be on him, also did. When the Prophet was young, he used to be a shepherd, and he used to take care of animals on the mountains of Mecca. And because he would take care of animals there, he would hear things. Well, once there was a man from Yemen. Yemen was far away. Maybe he had to travel 300 or 400 miles to get to Mecca. And he came. And when he came to Mecca, he brought all of his things that he wanted to sell. He brought different rugs, maybe. He brought different clothing, maybe. He brought different foods, maybe. And he found a man who looked at his goods and he felt the rugs and he was like, ooh, this is so nice. He smelled the perfume and he said, oh, this is so nice. He ate the food and said, oh, this is so nice. And the man from Mecca decided to buy everything. He said, I'm going to buy everything. Come back tomorrow and I will give you your money. So the man from Yemen gave the goods to the man from Mecca. And the next day, the man from Yemen came. He knocked on this man's door. He went, and the man didn't answer. So he knocked again, and the man didn't answer. And he knocked again, and he said, hey, buddy, I need my money. I gave you all of my goods yesterday, but you still haven't paid me. And finally, the guy cracked open the door, and he looked at the man from Yemen, and he looked at him up and down, and he said, do I know you? Do you know me? Do you know me? I was the guy who just sold you all this stuff yesterday. I sold you the rugs, maybe. I sold you the perfume, maybe. I sold you everything I have. What do you mean you don't know me? The guy replies, I don't believe we've ever met. I don't think I've ever met you before. Haven't met me? You've met me. We made a deal. You're supposed to pay me. No, sorry, sir, I don't know who you are. And he closes the door on his face. Could you imagine this man from Yemen? How he must have felt? He came hundreds of miles away to sell his stuff. And when he got to Mecca, he met this man. And the man took everything. But now when he went to go get his money, the guy acted like he didn't even meet him before. This guy from Yemen started going one by one to all of the leaders in the Quraysh. And he said, oh my goodness, do you know what happened? This guy took my money. I'm asking you to please do something. And no one responds. So he'd go to another one and say, please do something. They wouldn't do anything. So he'd go to another leader and say, please do something. And they wouldn't do anything. So finally, the man goes to the Kaaba. And he goes by the door of the Kaaba. And because he's so desperate, the man takes off his shirt. And he looks at all of the people in Mecca. And he tells them what has happened to him. He tells them what has happened to him. And he cries and he says, please help me. Please help me. And when he does that, all of the leaders of the Quraysh begin to look at each other and they say, man, we should do something. And so they get together at one of the members' house, and the Holy Prophet, peace and blessings be on him, even though he was a young boy at that time, and it was before the actual start of the prophethood, but the prophet was there. And they decide to sign an agreement. It was called the Pact of the Virtuous, or in Arabic, it was called Hifz al-Fudul. Hifz al-Fudul. And in it, they decided that as a community, as a country, they would never treat a man like this in such a bad way ever again. And that the community would step in to help him. And now, years later, when the Holy Prophet, peace and blessings be on him, introduces Islam after the beginning of his message, somebody asks him about this event, and the Holy Prophet says, oh, alhamdulillah, I would not have traded anything but to be a part of this, and if somebody gave me the opportunity to join that pact today, I would join it in a heartbeat. And so when we learn stories like this about our Holy Prophet, peace and blessings be on him, being involved in his community, caring about the needs of people, it helps us remember that we also need to care about the needs of our community.